Well, those with an interest in racing will already be familiar with the checkered career of jockey Simon Marshall. And Kate, I know you caught up with him just in the past few days.
That's right. Well, the 24-year-old has spent a lot of time in the winner's circle and a lot of time away from it, battling to make weight. In fact, it got so tough that 6 months ago he came close to giving the game away. But then out of the blue, a man well accustomed to a good hard fight, Sandy, stepped in to lend a hand. Today, Marshall has a new look and attitude and is hoping for a change in fortune and maybe even the system which saw him outed in the first place.
I enjoy track work because it's a time of the morning where you seem to be in no rush and you enjoy the horses because they're all relaxed. You get the best of the fresh air, Kate, and I don't know, it's a good start to the day, let's say.
There's nothing like an early morning spin on All Our Mob, but for the past month, sitting out a suspension which ended at midnight last night, it's the closest Simon Marshall has got to the big time.
Can't wait to get back, especially this time of year, being the carnival, and the good horses are around, the buzz is in the air, and, you know, personally, I just can't wait to get back.
It's an all-too-familiar scenario for the man who won the first of 13 Group 1 races at the age of 16 and has had to battle with his weight ever since.
In front, Warren's grabbed it from Stone Motherless last. Warren!
I lost 8 pound in one day. 8 pound in one day, that's mowing lawns with sweat gear on a 32-degree day, and then also running after I mowed lawns.
Sometimes it's worked, others it hasn't. The result, no less than 21 weight-related fines and 8 suspensions. And this year has been his worst. In July, he went out for a month, returning in August to ride Baryshnikov in the Liston Stakes. But the following week, he slipped in the sauna, injuring his back. He missed 4 rides, gained weight, and though he rode Baryshnikov at 57 kilos in the Craiglee, failed to drop the necessary kilo to ride Razor's Edge on the same day and was suspended again.
I go out there and put 6-7 hours a day in sometimes, exercise, dieting, and I don't get paid for that. And for someone to turn around and take your livelihood off you for 1 month for trying, kills you.
There's thousands of dollars invested on horses, especially in big races. And if they get beat by a half head and they've got a half a kilo extra on their back, it's probably affected the chance of that horse. Affected the owners, punters, trainer, everyone. Now that's why we are so strict on it. I wasted very hard when I rode as an amateur. I know what it's like, but I come to the stage when I realised I couldn't do it. Now, that's what jockeys have got to do.
Why didn't you retire?
I was too young, and I believed in... You hadn't seen the best of Simon Marshall yet. I don't think you have. I've got a lot more to offer the racing fraternity, and there's a lot more I want to achieve out of life in racing. Answer the question, I'm not going to go out and say, I'm not going to ride anymore and dig a hole on the side of the road. I'm not going to give up that easy, Kate.
Salvation came from a seemingly unlikely source.
I, out of the blue, read a story that Simon Marshall, great jockey, great Australian, was going to hang up the whip and put the silks away because he couldn't make weight. I gave him a call.
And I thought, oh, it's one of my mates, you know, having a go at me because they know I'm doing a bit of box exercise and whatnot. I got on the phone and said, "And the mayor love you all, and the mayor never let you down." Like this. And he said, "Simon, is Jeff Fennick here?" And I knew his voice, and I tell you, I thought,
When he found out it was me, he slowed up a little and we spoke and came to Sydney, worked with me, and, you know, I have tremendous respect for that man. He's a great little competitor. I think he's a great rider. I think he's one of the best out there, and I know that he'll come back and climb the top of the tree as well.
If you're fortunate enough to meet a world champion and be around a world champion for more than 5 minutes, the energy they rub off's something you can't buy. And after coming back from a week, I felt like a world champion myself. I had a new direction in life, and I'm a jockey.
The new program being used by Fenwick himself is tough but sensible, involving 2 exercise sessions a day and, rather than a diet, a healthy eating plan. So it's for lunch. Oh, now that does look exciting. What have we got in there?
We've got rice and prawn. Jeff's dietitian up in Sydney. Con Massoust, his name is. He plans everything out.
And
He faxes it through to me.
you stick to it to the absolute letter.
Yeah, you've got to.
A true convert, Marshall is keen to spread the word to other jockeys because obviously he's not the only one doing it hard.
I got off a winner Wednesday. I was 3 days in the sauna trying to get to the weight, and I was half kilo away from it, and in 2 hours I took off about 2 ounces, so I just dried myself up and baked myself and had to give away a winner, so it's a bit depressing.
Marshall argues it's now harder than ever. Better health and nutrition has led to an increase in the size of the population. The most recent national survey showing that 10-year-olds were 4 centimetres taller and 2 kilograms heavier than their counterparts in 1970. But jockeys must still conform to weights which are healthy if you're 5 foot, but almost impossible if you're 5'4" like Marshall or 5'7" like Paddy Payne.
I like riding in Australia. I certainly, I love it. So, but with the way the weight scale is over here, you've certainly got to look at overseas aspects. With Hong Kong and Singapore, the weights are a lot higher. So, well, you've got to go over there.
They've got to definitely change the system because, look, it's the olden days are just too far behind. They're too backwards. You know what I mean? And the kids and the guys these days are just finding it too hard to compete on 10 years ago, and it's just not right. It's not natural, and like you look at myself, and I'm looking at riding 7-8 kilograms underneath a natural weight.
I think even if we raise the weights, jockeys will still let themselves go that bit more. We found that with jumping jockeys. We used to have a 57 minimum. We raised it to 60, and in no time, they're still riding overweight at 60 as they were at 57. So the more you raise, the more they'll let themselves go, and sure, it's tough, but it's very rewarding if they're successful.
We'll discuss whether they're too low with the jockeys and trainers, listen to what they have to say. Personally, I think they could be raised probably a kilo at the bottom end of the scale and at the top end of the scale as well.
3.
A change would make life a little easier for Marshall, but even if he doesn't get his way, his new direction is clear.
I'd like to say I've got another 5 or 6 years left in the game, sticking to this program. Hey, if I only come back and ride 57, so be it. I'll be the best 57 kilo rider around.
And good luck to Simon. Of course, if you're not the natural lightweight like a G. Hall, it's the bane of a jockey's existence. And in fact, this weights issue is coming to a head, and the VRC are meeting with the Jockeys Association tomorrow and later on with the trainers, and they may well raise it a kilo at the bottom and top end of the
Interesting
scale.
point, though, isn't it? That, OK, if you do raise it, then maybe then the jockey realises, hey, I've got a couple of kilos to play with, and more often than not, they will go over the limit again. But it is very tough, but as Pat, I think, also said, they are rewarded extremely well, so.
That's right, but the thing is, if the whole population is actually increasing in size, jockeys, even though they are a small self-selected group, will also be getting smaller, and weights have naturally sort of progressed, so we'll see.
I must come and see you for a little dietitian's help anyway.
That's right, loaf that, now you'll be right.
And all that, thank you very much, Kate. It's been a monstrous week for cycling. Our boys have done us absolutely proud.